up, guys? Big Bud Bat here.
With MF4.
AKA Nolan Tom. Watching the Halo Waypoint version of the SDCC San Diego Comic-Con 343 panel. Hope you guys enjoy. It's going to be a live reaction, but we're going to keep the talking to a minimum.
Hey everybody. Thank you so much for joining us at our San Diego Comic-Con panel for the Master Chief Collection. We know we're the first panel slot of the day. We had to wake up early, we know you had to wake up early to get here, so it means a lot, and we're really glad that you're joining us. This is our second panel for the Master Chief Collection. We talked a lot about the game at RTX in Austin earlier this month, and we've got a lot of new things to share. So I'm really excited to get started, and I'll start by introducing everyone. My name's Andy Dudinsky. My friends call me Bravo, and I'm community manager for Halo at 343 Industries, and I've got thank you very much. And we've got a lot of guys who can tell a lot about this project. So first up is going to be Dennis Reese. He's executive producer on Halo the Master Chief Collection, and also served as lead producer on Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary.
It's just like, hey, give me.
Yeah.
Next up is Max Hoberman, the original online and multiplayer design lead for Halo 2. Max is also president of Austin-based developer Certain Affinity. Next up is Frank Balson, who works at Blur Studio. He's a director there.
Blur.
I mean, this is better than how it used to be, because how it used to be is you couldn't even film this stuff. It was anybody that got the tickets got in, no press, no nothing. The only press could write about it. That's it.
There's definitely still panels that come out laid out.
This is a man you all know, Frank O'Connor, franchise development director at
Joe and Sean, they're going to go to Kineticon next year. They're going to help out with one panel and do one panel.
We talked a lot about the
and they're thinking about asking me to help them out with the Halo panel or Batman panel.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, maybe I'll get you on. At least you could come. Maybe get a free ticket.
Sounds like fun.
About the Master Chief Collection and how we're bringing all of these games together.
All those other Comic-Cons, are they connected to this one, or are they just like remakes?
I mean, right from the get-go, there's so much content that's out there, right? We have
There's only two that are connected, San Diego and New York Comic-Con. Everything else is kind of like their own conventions. Con is just their convention, so Kineticon is just Connecticut. I've been there once just because they were going to bring the two Batmobiles in the 1960s and 1989.
Wow.
But they didn't. On my brother's birthday, too, they were supposed to bring it.
Make sure that nostalgic element of what Halo is can be remembered by all the fans and easily enjoyed. And then also try to add some sort of new elements to it. So,
we want to hop over to the build?
What's that? Okay, good. Great, there we go. So we have our main menu up here. Excellent. So right away, you see, for us, we really wanted to make sure it was easy to launch into all these games. And the way that we were able to do that was by taking off sort of the user interface level or layer for all of the individual games and creating a single user interface that connects them all. And that really allowed us to do some pretty cool things so that you could just jump in here and immediately just start playing any game. Since they're all on one disc with the Xbox One, we were able to do that. And so as we looked and we started thinking about, we want to make sure people can have those same great memories that they were always playing back in the good old days. So we unlocked every mission. We didn't want to have to make people play through each game all again so they can get to those favorite missions that they love so much about each of their games. Well, when we did that, that opened up new opportunities for us to allow people to play Halo the way they want to play Halo. So if you out there love vehicles, you can come into, say, Halo CE Anniversary and just play maps, all the missions that actually have vehicles on them. So now you can really begin to customize how you want to play Halo. It gets a lot more interesting when you start applying that logic
Classic
across all games. So suddenly you can have the incredible Master Chief Saga Marathon, where you just start at the first level of Halo 1 and play non-stop to the end of Halo 4.
I asked Noah to get Doritos, but he was like, fuck you, man. Get Lay's.
I guarantee a good portion of this audience is going to give it a try.
Didn't even get barbecue, but it's okay.
Please take frequent bathroom breaks,
Whatever.
please.
Have you done this, Steve?
Yeah. I'm in test right now.
Yeah.
It's not pretty. No, but a lot of fun. I'm really excited for all the fans to begin to play, Halo sort of as they want to play Halo. And for us, that
So
was
Frank
really important
O'Connor,
that we had this as sort of like a single.
He's like the Obama
well,
of 343.
campaign
The Obama dude for three.
He's kind of in charge, but at the
There's a
same
lot
time,
more
he's
than
mostly
the
just there to be a
multiplayer.
scapegoat.
And
People wearing
multiplayer
bags.
is, quite incredible with Halo, especially
Bags with
when you
beautiful
start to
drawings
think
on
about
them.
Yeah.
all of the maps.
Well, then you sit down and
There's
ruin the
over
drawings.
100 multiplayer maps.
What if
I'm
that
talking
face is just
every
there the
single
entire
map
video?
created for Halo, which includes all the PC versions as well.
Just trolling.
So when you start like cycling through some of these, it just gets kind of ridiculous.
And is that a
Yeah,
map?
it's a lot of maps.
Is that like a map of the actual map on the right?
So
See that
making sure
remote?
all of this
Yeah,
content was easily consumable was important to
That would
us.
be
And so,
impressive.
we
Yeah,
wanted
that
to
would
set
be
up a process where you simply, you go in, you search for a match, and then what it does is it brings, based on whatever game you love, in my case it's Team Slayer, but you jump in, you're matched with a bunch of people who also love Team Slayer, and then you get to vote on what version multiplayer you want to play. So if it's Halo 1 and everyone in your party wants to play Halo 1, you can do that.
SWAT.
It's going to load up the original
SWAT's
multiplayer
okay.
from Halo
Rick
1.
SWAT is the best.
That's right, the original multiplayer from Halo 1.
Halo,
Never existed
Halo
back
4
then. Never
SWAT
before
pistols, too
able to
much-
play
has too much
over
accuracy
Xbox
and
Live until now on console. So this is pretty awesome. With all of those PC maps as well, then you can do it. You can play Halo 1 multiplayer with all your friends. When you're done, you'll come out, and then you'll end up going back and selecting another version of multiplayer. It could be Halo 3 or Halo 2. And it's just a seamless experience. So it's a lot of fun. We think the fans are really going to enjoy it. And, we also
Did we
have
forge
to
with
do some other cool things,
Combat Evolved
specifically
stuff?
around control schemes. One thing I know that Bravo loves, and made sure that
Warthog
I
racing.
bring it up here,
That'd be so
is the
funny.
universal control
There's
scheme
always
around.
been that.
I know, but for the Combat Evolved
That's
one,
right. So finally, you
PC
can actually
version.
enjoy
Custom edition. People can hack the game as much as they want.
and you
People
actually
can make
have
it look
that
like
same
Call of
control
Duty
scheme on
and still be
that.
considered Halo.
Yeah.
Why would
So for us,
somebody
it
want
was
to do
actually
that now?
really
Because they
exciting
can.
to create a unified experience.
Let's talk a little about, really at the onset, when you looked at, as we mentioned,
Make anything you want in that game.
Evolved Anniversary as well. When you look
The
at
original
that
Forge.
and then looking ahead
Pretty much,
to the
yeah.
Anniversary, what were some of those things right away that you knew that you wanted?
Oh, there was also the original
Well,
Rocket
so,
Hog,
as we
which is
thought
basically
about-
that version was a rocket launcher on the back of a hog, basically.
Ah.
Shot 1, 2, 3.
As we thought about campaign, we knew it was going to be important for you need to
Fire up a running build campaign for the first time in a panel right now.
That's right. So you guys are looking at Cairo Station. And, right away for us, what was really important when we started thinking about Halo 2
Quick, what
Anniversary
level is this?
campaign and remastering it, we had to make sure
Is that Bravo
it
taking
was
pictures?
identical to the original.
They got him doing grunt
So
work?
what we
Yeah.
did was
No,
we
no,
took
he's
the
over
original
there.
game code, just like in Halo 1 Anniversary, and we just sort of...
I apologize, but they did not go to
right
full
over
screen
the
for
Xbox
any of the
One.
panels we
And
looked
hooked up
for.
two different rendering engines to
Not
it.
trying
So
to
the
add something.
original
No.
classic engine and
Forget about
rendering
donating.
engine, and also a completely
It takes
remastered
more
next-gen
time.
rendering engine.
You know?
This
Okay.
allowed us to do something what we call classic mode. So that at any point in time, you can hit the back button or the view button on the Xbox One controller, and you can see what the game looked like 10 years ago. So here's what it looks like today, and this is what it looks like 10 years
So
ago.
beautiful. Space actually looks like space.
Yeah.
The Earth is gray.
Here is
Now, the
gray.
awesome part is with the Xbox One, that switch is actually just incident, or just
I mean, in Blue Earths are for sissies.
Uh-huh.
It's all about those gray
And,
girls.
it allows you to really have no gameplay interference, whereas the 360 version of that version, there's a little bit of a
This is
fade in,
pre-recorded,
fade out.
right?
Additionally,
Yeah.
we've added achievements.
Look, those two
achievements
just
in
skipped
this
to the
game than
front.
in any other Xbox game. That's 4,000 achievement points for this game alone. That's
I can finally have no life.
And a lot of them have been changed and rewritten and made sure
Collect
that
every
everyone can have
single
sort of
one.
new creative
One dude
ways.
actually did that
Additionally,
already.
Really?
For like the all the original versions of the games. We got an interview.
Across the level, and once you find them, you can turn them on.
Honestly, it's hard to tell the difference between the two.
There
a
are
little
more
bit.
skulls in this
Like, because
game.
we're so far away, but...
Yeah.
There's over 30 skulls to change your gameplay. And then, of course, fiction. Fiction is always an important part here. So we found only the best partners to work with, and we really wanted to make sure that
it's really good.
the Halo 2 cinematic story in a very creative and, high quality way. And so we worked with Blur Studios. And so, we're really excited that we have Frank here on the panel to talk a little bit more about it.
I'm really excited for the campaign, but I already have a Halo 2 campaign. I'm more excited for the multiplayer to come back. Honestly.
Are all the cutscenes going to be CGI, like in the trailer?
All the cutscenes will be CGI, but they will have their original cutscenes that you have to pick before the level. We can't, like, switch.
A little bit later in the panel. One thing I'd like to do
Yeah,
is kind of
that CGI looks really realistic.
Yeah, you can see the original.
How retelling the Halo 2 story really provides an opportunity to connect all the experiences that have been in the past and also the ones that are coming. And Frank, can you talk a little about some of the people in the room, I'm sure, talked about the Nightfall panel yesterday, and people are, of course, excited about the Halo 2 anniversary and how all of that even connects into Halo 5 audience.
Yeah, so this is obviously the 10th anniversary of Halo 2. I think you guys looking at the UI got some sense of just how much content is just in the game. But there's some stuff that we're adding to the story as well. We obviously have Halo Nightfall.
It must be really nerve-wracking seeing all those greasy faces looking at
What
them.
that does is
There you go, full screen.
There's a black guy.
He's going to
Sweaty black
play a
guy.
significant role in Halo 5.
Same black
You've
guy.
seen his origin story in the Nightfall digital series. And it's a kind of a character bridge.
It's like the Halo 4 Master Chief
The guys at Blur, aside from remastering all the cinematics for Halo 2, are also
He's Agent
creating
Locke,
some new cinematics.
that Spartan 4.
Call them
Oh,
bookends in the studio. But
That's like looking for him.
It's going to be a bridging story that's going to connect.
Dude, you gotta get an Xbox
In a
One
fairly
before next
specific way, the stories of the Master Chief collection.
Get a job.
Think about that as the-
No, seriously.
the Chief saga directly with events that are going to happen in Halo 5.
So that black guy is the guy in the
the
trailer,
multiplayer
the E3 trailer with the blue visor.
Oh yeah, hey, this is like in between 4 and 5. They're going back to the old Halo ring that blew up. There's a piece that jumped into slipspace, and they're gonna be looking for something on there. Flood might be back again.
Flood are always.
It just won't stop.
Another huge part of the anniversary treatment is specifically that multiplayer treatment for Halo 2 anniversary. And as we approach this 10-year anniversary, it's great to have Max Hopeman with us, not only as the original multiplayer online design lead, but also as president of the studio that's helping bring Halo 2 anniversary to life in a really big way. I'd like to start really at the beginning and talk a little bit about, I think anyone can chime in here. Frank, you joined the studio working on Halo, started working during Halo 2 development. And can you talk a little bit about just how big Halo 2 was for multiplayer, how big Live was for Halo, and how big Halo was for Live? I think there's a lot there that we haven't talked about yet in the public, and I think it would be really cool to tell that story.
Yeah, when I started on Halo 2 in 2003.
That's my man.
At that point, I was working in the industry, but I was basically just a Halo fan. And I think if you poll this audience and ask people how much time they spent on campaign, the answer with Halo 1 is going to be anywhere between 8 and 12, maybe. But if you ask how many hours you spent on multiplayer, it's disproportionate.
What did you do?
What did I do? What did you do?
I didn't do anything.
We were going to skip to technical difficulties.
In my head.
Okay, we're back.
And it wasn't quite as naive, but at least in my head I thought, well,
You're gonna love the technical difficulties.
significant multiplayer department because
I think I've already
more
seen
than
it.
half of your experience is playing multiplayer. We got
We should just like take a picture of us just going.
one of them was Max, and that was the entire multiplayer organization effectively. I mean, there's shared resources, but that was it, and it was crazy to see the scale of how campaign creates the assets in the sandbox for multiplayer. But it was insane to me that the multiplayer team, which had been responsible for so much joy and fun, was 2 guys, and Max was right in the middle of really, I think it's fair to say, radically changing how you play console multiplayer games. And I think philosophically, and Max had a really hard time trying to explain this because there was no context for it. So he'd be describing parties and matchmaking. We didn't really have context for it because everything was server lists, and we were playing Mech Assault on the Xbox, and you were sort of finding people manually. And so Max was making decisions that were going to change how Xbox Live itself functioned. So we didn't even have the context to understand what he was really trying to do. But I think the way that he kind of bottled that idea for me was he was literally trying to take the fun parts of being in a LAN, the social parts and the engagement parts and the friendships and the energy that's in that room, and put that on Xbox Live. So he was trying to solve all these technical problems and all these design issues, but he was also trying to take these slightly undefinable things that you get from that social context of being in a basement LAN party blowing circuit breakers. And that was hard. Until you were actually playing it, it was almost impossible to properly contextualize.
Yeah, sure. Dennis and Max, I know you guys, Dennis, you have the opportunity over the past few months working on this project to look at some of Max's design documents. You guys want to talk a little bit about those first goals of bringing...
Yeah, it was great being in your office looking at some of the original Halo 2 design documents and kind of what you had to do to explain what a party was. Just the concept didn't even exist, so you had some really cool notes and stuff like that. And I thought it was really awesome.
Yeah, it was a fun time, and I think kind of to Frank's point, people forget that Xbox Live was so primitive at the time. We were really inventing things from the ground up. So just something as simple as having a friends list accessible in the game, that didn't exist. To check out a friends list, you had to actually exit out of the game back then. So it really started from the ground up, designing in the friends list. And the driving philosophy, like Frank mentioned, was this idea of how do we take this great LAN party experience and how do we, take the best parts of this, take it online. You guys may have heard the term, which I think somebody coined it, Bungie, but the virtual couch, and that was kind of our shorthand for this LAN party experience. But yeah, it was tough. It was incredibly difficult to convey the vision for what this was going to be because it was so different. With parties and matchmaking, you can see up on the screen some of the features that we introduced in Halo 2. And this stuff, it was so hard to convey this vision because it was so radically different than what people are used to. People are used to a game server, just go find a server and then hope your friends can get on that server with you. And we were really kind of inverting that and flipping it on its head. And even within Bungie, it was incredibly contentious. There was a camp that said, no way in hell I'm not going to have a game server, and I want to choose exactly what map I'm going to play on. This matchmaking idea is not going to work, to put it politely. So yeah, it was fun times. It was quite challenging. You can see up there on the screen, grab this shot real quick, but there's the friends list. Before you had it on the guide button, and you had it in this kind of universal format. Had to dedicate a controller button for that sucker way back in the day.
Nice.
And we had clan support. We had trying to think what was interesting or what was really kind of contentious. I know matchmaking was a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, even pregame, the fact that you had a pregame and postgame lobbies, right, where you could organize yourselves with friends and communicate against the people you just had. Of course, communicate very politely about the match that you had just played. And
of course.
There's a lot of things that I think many of us, when we were first playing Halo 2, certainly took for granted, right? And we popped in this disc, and all of a sudden we were competing with people that we used to have to lug our Xboxes and TVs over with, as well as competing with people across the world. So I think a lot of that, when Dennis started to tell me around the end of our RTX panel, he's like, hey, Max has this community background where he wanted to create this social experience where it's easy to find matches are great, and it really starts to make sense when you think about the framework of Halo 2 and Xbox Live.
Yeah, when I was working on the online features, I was to a certain extent, I was in a vacuum. I didn't really have a lot of direction. I did have a lot of community background. At Bungie, back pre-Halo days, I was responsible for managing the community for the Myth games online for BungieNet. So I had some experience, and I had some ideas, things I wanted to do, like parties was my own kind of crazy concoction. And then matchmaking was the one place where I actually felt like I got some creative direction from Jason Jones, actually, one of the co-founders of Bungie. And it was really interesting because his creative direction, when I kind of explained what we wanted to do with matchmaking, what Jason said to me is, all right, two things you need to be really careful about, two things you have to do. Number one is you have to make it so that it's like a candy machine. It's like, what do you mean? Every time, like a gumball machine, every time you put a quarter in, you get a piece of tasty candy. I'm like, okay, all right. And then number 2, once you're in matchmaking, you need to make it easier to stay in than to get out. Make it easier to keep playing than to leave. So I took that as creative direction to heart and interpreted that, and that's why at the end of the match-made game, for instance, you stay in that group and another game automatically starts up. That cycle repeats itself automatically. That was my translation of his very odd creative direction.
Thank you, Max. I think one thing that has become a tradition, and you guys should let me know if you'd be interested in this, but we've been revealing which maps we're remastering at each panel, and I think maybe we could do that again. Is that something you guys would like to see? Cool, Max. Max, I will actually let you do the honors.
I think we're about to make it a tradition. So yeah, we talked when we were at RTX. We were talking about multiplayer maps and the fact that all of these multiplayer maps that were so popular for Halo 2, maps like Midship and Lockout and Ivory Tower and these others, they were all designed right from the get-go. And we had such a small team, as Frank was mentioning, that we really had to kind of get our plans in order and get them locked.
Ascension, Coag, Midship,
and that's actually true of all of the maps except for one. Does anyone here know which one map we added very, very late in the game?
Ascension.
Shout it out if you know it. What? Say it again?
Shouts it out.
Zanzibar, I heard it. That's right. So, we're bringing back Zanzibar. Very excited about that.
The original screenshot even?
Yeah, that is an old screenshot.
Yeah, that is an iconic shot. I think it's even a pre-release Halo 2 shot. But Max, we've got some concept art from your team back home showing off kind of the new direction for Zanzibar in Halo 2 Anniversary.
Yeah, these are just some of our concept artists at Circufinity showing off some of these concept drawings.
Mongoose.
You get a sense for what this thing will end up looking like.
Confirmed.
And I think we even have some screenshots, maybe, of a work in progress.
Now, this is a first look at Zanzibar in Halo 2.
Yeah, work in progress, keep in mind.
That looks really good.
Keep going through these. We brought a handful of screenshots here, and the last one's my favorite.
Oh, they're reusing the warthogs or whatever. I'm cool with it.
And once you go inside,
I kind of wish they weren't. Those warthogs are cool and all.
So it's super exciting. Our artists are working hard to get this thing done, and it's looking amazing. It's just as fun as it always was. And I think you want to talk a little bit about this map?
Yeah,
they're taking inspiration.
You and I get in a room, I feel like we end up talking about the original designs and how they all came about.
Okay, with whatever.
Zanzibar was not one of the maps that was designed from the onset, yet it added so much to Halo multiplayer. Specifically in fact how it would work for asymmetrical round-based game types and how
I
that
just
was
want
a totally
the door to
new
be a
thing
full
never before
door,
seen in
not
Halo.
like
I think
last
sometimes
resort.
even that is taken for granted as well. So we can talk about
Styles of
some of the
vehicles. No, I want a
goals you
full
had
door.
with Zanzibar and also the fact that why it came about and why
Showcase
it
for one flag CTF.
Yeah, we had all of our maps locked, and then
support
I think the last E3, if I recall, before we released Halo 2, Pete Parsons and Jason Jones came to me and said, "Hey Max, the campaign. There's just no way we can spend any time on E3. So multiplayer seems like it's in pretty good shape. So we need you to figure out what."
He told the story already
this year. That's for multiplayer only. And keep in mind, I had a 2-man team. I think we were up to 3 people at that point in time. That was quite an undertaking to be responsible for our E3 showing. So we took a look at what we had, and we looked at all the maps, and we knew that we had a lot of really fun maps. We were having a great time playing them, but we didn't really feel that we had anything that really kind of showcased.
We are having technical difficulties once again. We apologize for this. Play that music. Is it because, like, after being idle for a while, it just signs you out?
No, I've never had that happen.
Well, how often are you not doing anything on there?
I mean, I've had the setting on so it doesn't log me out twice. I think just because the Xbox is getting
Just put
We're
it
back
simple.
once again.
We didn't have anything that was really sexy.
You son of a bitch!
No. Okay.
Enough. anything that showcased some of the really cool stuff. Now we had some resources. We had some of the guys on the single player team, the campaign guys, able to help us out. So we actually designed the new map. I think we did it, Chris Carney and I did the paper design for this whole map, Zanzibar, in over 1 weekend. That's it right there. That's the original paper design. When we really wanted to design a map for this One Flag CTF game mode, which I'd kind of dreamed up, and we had it working on some of the maps, and it was fun, but we didn't really have a map that was kind of designed from the ground up for this game mode, this asymmetric, round-based game mode where you had everyone on one team, on offense or defense. So yeah, we decided we'd showcase this One Flag CTF on this map. You can see the red line on there. That's the original plan for the vehicle path. But yeah, that's actually remarkably close to what we ended up shipping, which is pretty cool. But we didn't really have a lot of time for iteration on this map, so we were just dove right in, straight into production, trying to make a small map that supports Team Slayer, always a priority, but also One Flag CTF, and a map that supports infantry and vehicles in a really fun way, which we didn't feel like we had actually tackled previously. So this was one of the first ones that we felt really kind of nailed it. Lots of vehicle paths and infantry that has to cross the street, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Can you tell them your original vehicle plan for Zanzibar, the one that you ended up taking up?
Oh yeah, I was telling these guys earlier that I was looking through some of my old notes. It's been a while since I worked on this stuff, and for a long time I actually planned on putting a Banshee on this map, which was just crazy. I don't know what I was thinking. Would have been fun, but it was crazy.
I think it's also cool if we could talk for just a second.
Oh my god, just squeezed in there.
The design influence,
like,
taking
you
even a step
drive
further
outward
back
and the wings
of
just kind of
asymmetrical
unfold.
round-based game types, and how that provided a new experience, and also how that tied directly into Zanzibar.
And actually,
with
it's
the temptations
energy
for
sword.
leaving the base, and how it was really just an entirely new way to play multiplayer.
Yeah, there's kind of two things there. One is just kind of standard
I
gameplay
feel
balance
like
things.
this was the most dynamic map. It had
okay, we're going
doors,
to design this asymmetric map with bases and people that can, hole up and sit around camping their flag with shotguns and rocket launchers and stuff. So we had to do things to try and counterbalance that. Things like
go faster.
Put rocket
So
ammo
anybody that's trying to go through there is
entice the guy with the rocket
automatically
launcher to come out of the base, risk his neck for some advantage. So there's a lot of that thinking that went into the map. But more broadly than that, with One Flag CTF, my mission on Halo 2 was really a lot of fun, the fun of Halo multiplayer, but also really broad accessibility. And One Flag CTF was kind of born from that vision of, hey, if you only got 4 guys on a team, let's not split them up and have half of them on defense and half on offense. Right, let's get 4 guys all working together, coordinating with a single sole focus and objective. And that's just a lot more user-friendly, a lot more easy to understand and accessible. But that was our guiding light on Halo 2 in general. You can look at the matchmaking system and say,
you can go through and then
you get a choice, a list of like 7 playlists or hoppers, whatever you call them. And pick one and go, and everything just happens.
Click the button. Click the big button.
Yeah, that was the guiding light on Halo 2.
They have that. Everybody just stand there by Team Slayer.
Thank you, Max. Dennis mentioned earlier.
Okay, we talked over this entire this guy's entire speech.
Joining us for the first time
Ooh.
To talk about some of that.
Never mind.
Frank and Dennis on the 343 side. At what point did we know that we really wanted to work with Blur when thinking about that anniversary treatment?
After the launch of Halo Wars, when they did all of those pre-rendered cinematics, is pretty much. I mean, such high quality, and they were top on our list. The first people that we contacted when we knew we wanted to do this work. Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome, cool. And Frank, do you want to talk a little bit about just the Frank and Frank? Talk a little bit about.
We put them next to each other on purpose to confuse everybody.
Cool. You guys want to talk just a little bit about what this project entailed, right? The goals from the onset.
So, you should go ahead.
Okay.
Frank.
I mean, of course, like the goals and like the challenges were really to try to take what was pre-existing, all the badass cinematics you guys had in Halo 2, and like, okay, how can we plus it, but still stay true to like the original game? And of course, you have like, well, all the new tech that we have today. We can do motion capture, we can do facial capture. Animation softwares have become great and everything, and even like cinematography-wise, like we can make it look really sexier. And that's what Blur is known for, making stuff blow up and chicks running around looking really good and all that kind of stuff. So that's what we wanted to try to inject into those cinematics and make the action parts even more exciting and all the emotional moments like even more emotional.
Yeah, right now on screen we have a few of the shots that I think some have been released and some have not. So while Frank is talking about a little bit of that, we'll show
Wow.
some of the shots
That's
that you guys are working on.
Awesome.
Yeah, and this is it's a little bit unusual in that it's not a one-to-one recreation for obvious reasons of the original Halo 2 cinematics. You can still play the Halo 2 cinematics in their original form, but because these are obviously high-quality, high-definition video, you're going to have to make a choice before you start. You won't be able to switch like you can in Classic mode. This was philosophically unusual in that we aren't doing a one-to-one recreation. This is really a treat. This is sort of a reward for enjoying the game for 10 years.
It's our reward for making it. Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that is cool.
I mean, and also, Frank, I mean, if you think about like just the sheer amount of cinematics that were in Halo 2, right? I mean, there's quite a lot of footage there to cover.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I mean, this was like one of the big challenges. I mean, we have like close to like an hour of footage in full HD and an insane amount of assets to wrangle. I mean, we have like close to like 60 different characters, 50 environments, 100 props and vehicles. And one of the thing too is that it's like the whole Halo 2 story arc is very much based on the characters and how they interact together and dialogue. So one of the main things that we really wanted to focus on was, okay, how do we make it so that, well...
What's that dude doing? He's just like filming everywhere.
He's like,
people!
I have friends.
These are my... Just take a selfie.
Turn it up! And one for the alien species. And I mean, from what I've been seeing so far, it's looking pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. And Frank, from a story standpoint, I mean, I think one of the first things that I saw when this footage and these stills started coming into the studio, I think I speak for everyone. I say when we were just floored at how good everything was. And one of the first things I thought,
do you know somebody needs to
adds, in terms of storytelling.
Somebody needs to dress as Master Chief, just run across the camera.
Yeah, I think one of the things.
Where's my
we're looking at
Cortana?
is we're also recording all the music.
That'd be really
Skywalker Orchestra in slightly more modern.
Just be like, just chill, just walk around, just like nothing's going on. Just go out to stage, see that empty seat? See the empty seat? Look what Chief is gonna see. He's like,
there's more modern cinematography going on. There's different
like this, you should be like,
shots. So again, if you could switch,
what's good, my niggas?
you see radical differences, not just included.
Play the clip
And I think that
We're just getting stuck.
it does a great
Turn
job
into like
of how enjoyable the
Dark
original
Knight
story
Batman.
is in how much it's lifted by that process. So I think that you get to enjoy the nostalgia of having loved that story, and you also get to recognize how far things have come technologically and artistically over the last decade.
Yeah, I think we've got a making of video.
I definitely had a nice name.
Together specifically for this panel, so this has not been shown anywhere else, and actually will not be shown anywhere else. So we're going to.
Not shown anywhere else. Okay.
You're exclusive.
It would be better with the
It'd be
music.
good, yeah, it'd be good if we could get that house audio.
You guys will get to see a good fourth of the screen.
Just like Mike.
Only at GSF.
Yep.
Everybody just like only you can see here. Everybody turns on their cameras.
All right, let's give this a go. Round two.
Oh come on! Oh thank God. Oh I already saw this. This is great. Check out. I noticed this. Her right shoulder has the Illuminati symbol. Dude, check it out. Has a pyramid and everything. No one ever talks about this. Check it out. Watch her. There you see, right there. Illuminati symbol, right shoulder. Illuminati owns Halo. So this is no capping now.
Oh yeah, I've seen this too.
I just wonder why they pick an ugly girl though. Like she's not that ugly, but like doesn't look anything like Miranda. I like the breathing suit. Look at her. Oh my God! I just saw like she looks like an alien. Ew. See, she looks like she's like 40. Now she looks like. Oh my God! Stop. She still looks like she's like 40. But she's called her Miranda Keith because she had a falling out with her mother. And she changed her name. And
So far, what we saw there was just from, going from the original into a
like when she came back from Onyx
version of that. Do you want to talk about it?
with the rest of what was left of Master
Just a little
Chief's
more
team.
polish. I think we'll go to talk about a little bit about the cinematic process. I mean, what we saw there was just a little bit, I'm sure, of what goes on behind the scenes, but there's quite a few steps to recreating, like you said, nearly a full hour of footage.
No, all I care about is the
so
cloth
we're not
and
gonna have
hair
that
being
just
gone.
but I'm gonna
Being
try to
gone.
condense it as much as I
With
can,
the
because
purple
once I
outfit.
start talking about my job, I mean, you guys are.
All I
still
care
in here
about
as
is
well.
freaking gameplay. Show more shit.
So, despite the fact that all your
Anything.
characters were like already existing,
Just
we
not
had
old
to
people
reconcept
talking.
every single character's assets and
Did you pan
environments
through?
in the
waiting.
whole game, just because we started with like the original game assets. And we needed to know what it was going to look like in high res. So that's the final model right here.
They're showing
So
stuff.
that's
dude.
like the original
What's
asset
that?
with Art Light Rig.
Sphere
And so that's basically what
Don't
we started
ask, I don't
doing.
know.
So we started concepting on top
Maybe
of
it's
that.
like a bomb. Johnson
And
just keeps
iterating
at his side,
until we
just in
were
case.
all happy.
Like one of
with
those
it. I mean,
old, like,
I think the Arbiter was a really
cartoon,
great,
like,
example.
It's the monitor's
because,
cousin.
like,
Yeah, Monitor's like
needed to
mentally
be
challenged
a new
inbred cousin.
So many different versions.
Oracle's
yeah.
like inbred cousin.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's got like a tiny blue
So
eye.
It's just like
once
flickering,
this,
like waving all over the
this thing
place.
happens,
Yeah.
like we
He's
concept
like,
everything, and
That's why
then
on the floor.
we just want to make sure that everything we have inside the
somebody.
cinematics just connects with the game. So that's why we need to make sure
He
that all
can't
the
fly.
designs are.
Johnson's in charge of him.
And
He's so
if
fat,
we
he's
take a look
rolls.
to like Sergeant Johnson a little bit better,
No, Johnson just kicks him.
because-
Johnson just kicks him down the road.
because he was a human, we
soccer
were like,
ball.
okay, we're going to go the mocap route. We're going to need to have like great facials, and so there is no other way for that than just like cast an actor that can do the body performance,
Wow.
the facial performance.
I don't think that's the guy that
can
voices.
act sitting. So there was actually a really funny story how we came to work with Damien. Is we were actually casting a lot of people, and then he just showed up at the studio to visit one of the animation supervisors, and we look at him. He's like, who's this guy? And he's like, oh yeah, he's an actor. Like, can you come? Can you just like read the lines? And he just
I
like
miss
read the
Johnson.
lines. We're like, okay, you know what? All
It'll
you
be
guys,
nice
we're
to have him
done.
back for a little
So
bit.
this dude, we're like, okay, so this dude's like,
Not that
oh,
poopy
really?
Johnson
Like,
from Halo
oh,
1
yeah.
that's just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
dies every time no one sees him.
And
then he
it's
makes
been
that
hell.
weird
And-
face.
Actually, we have
Actually,
Damien's
actually,
yeah, we have Damien with us. You want to stand up and say hello?
Oh, he's here?
He's like, I'm not getting paid for this.
He's like, if God is love, call me Cupid. Taking bows and shit, stop.
I think, Frank, you were mentioning
That's
just
a
that
little
because
too
Sergeant
much. I'm not
mentioned how
getting
about
paid
in
for
Halo
this.
2 it's so dialogue focused and emotion driven, and Sergeant Johnson probably maybe the person with the most.
Whenever you have a
expression,
question,
right?
ask Wikipedia.
Oh, yes.
Especially in the face.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, totally. And I mean, and Damien is extremely expressive. It was.
Yep.
It was
At one point,
very
they said that
painful
this
to animate
town
because he's so
was set
expressive.
on
At
that
first, I was like,
volcano.
"Whoa, I didn't even know a face could do
Video
that." And we were like, you know what? We really like your face. We really like your hair and everything. So how about we just shade you completely?
Yo, can
So
I?
that's what he had to do. He had to
I know
shave
who
his
voices
little
him?
beard and all his hair in order to be able to do scan.
Oh,
of
David
his
Scully.
face. So actually, this
So it's
should
not.
be a video
Damn it.
We can get it to animate just like this.
If it's there, we go.
He was born
So
July.
that's actually like
oh,
the scanning
London.
process
I feel like
that
I've
we
heard
went through
that
at light stage.
So am I.
It's like this
He's a writer and voice actor.
crazy complicated piece of technology, but what you get at the end is basically like
No, I saw it.
a really super defined model with like all the textures, how the skin reacts to the
And
light.
is probably most well known for
and
being
actually
one of
the
only
first
4
character we
actors to have
tried
a
it
role in
with,
every single game.
was
to
Hood.
Sly
And
Cooper.
the guys at Light Stage
Ron
sent us back
2.0,
a
what the
model,
heck is that?
like with their like rendered and everything, and we looked at it, and it was
I don't
like
know.
disturbingly like real. It was like crazy.
Pajama
and then
Sam.
Damien's scan came in, and all the other.
He was in
actors'
Halo
scans
Reach?
Came in. We actually
Yeah.
scanned.
No.
I mean, I can't remember
No,
how
he
many,
wasn't.
like close to 10 or.
Dota.
Oh wait, yeah, he was a
for
firefight
this.
voice. I forgot.
And so we're going to move
Dota
on to the
2.
next one, which is basically once this has gone through like a lot of
Do you
process,
remember Pajama
it's like
Sam?
modeling. And,
No, dude, I
modeling
don't
the rest of the
care.
body.
Shut up.
I think this one doesn't have the hair yet, so basically it
David
goes
Scully,
with like
something
the
like
hair, and we add like a little bit of
Whatever.
a 5 o'clock shadow. And then once this is done, this is like kind of like a temp
David
render
Scully,
to figure out,
anagram
okay, is
for
it too
Obama.
glossy, is it too effective? But you need to know if this is going to work as like a final image. So the supervisor of the project did like a quick like comp, like adding all the bells and whistles, and I think it's the next image.
Blur logo on the background.
Blur.
And we were like, oh wow, that does look like this.
Literally, he looks so. He's like, I'm swag.
I know.
It's kind of weird to see our view up here, like side by
Like-
side.
Although that does look like the sexier version of Damon. Yeah, sorry.
He's
Yeah,
just
more
here because no one cares. That's why he doesn't get a
So
seat.
the next stage, once we
Yeah.
have all those great models, of course,
So they're giving you that
models,
empty
all the
seat
characters,
right
all the
now.
props.
No, you're not that important. I
all
mean,
those like insane
whatever,
environments. I mean, those environments are so
Steve
huge.
Downs has
Demands,
never
like,
been to
a
a
lot of
panel. I
work.
don't
But
think.
basically,
He's
once
the
everything
Master
is
Chief.
created, then we have.
He actually
we have
has his own
that
radio
whole rigging
station,
where
that's
we
where they
put
got him.
bones and all that
Really?
kind of stuff,
Yeah.
so that characters can.
That's how he makes his main
Um,
income. Video games is just
and in
kinda
parallel,
does
I
it.
would
do
watch.
mocap.
I would listen to that.
So I'm sure a lot of you
that radio
guys know what
station.
mocap
Yeah, he was
is.
talking this one time. It's
A lot
just-
of actors with
No.
like tight
There was this
spandex
one
suits
time
and
he
little
talked about how he
reflectors
went to
on
one
them.
event and it was
And
won a
this, I
tournament
mean,
to
on,
play
what
Master
was really
Chief. And he was like
new
telling
and,
them
and like hard
that
on this,
he
on this
can't
project
play,
was
he sucks
the
at
amount,
it.
again, like
And they told him, don't worry, we'll set it
volume
up
of
so you
stuff to
can't
do.
die.
So we shot for like
And it was a
24
little girl that
days,
won the tournament. She
24
kicked
days
his
of
ass.
mocap to be able
Wow.
to figure out the whole concept.
Why you got all the snacks
And
on
what
your
was really
side?
tough, and that's
No
why
reason.
having great actors was
Badass.
essential, was we had to act to the original VO to make sure that the timing was going to be correct and that we could use the original VO on top of the actors. And because, like, you know, your body performance is completely linked with what you say.
I know that's a battle rifle.
And so in that regard, we
I
used
generally don't
the
like-
first
That's Halsey.
facial
Yeah.
mocap.
I
think it might be
facial
Halsey, it
mocap
might be a
can use,
ceremonial.
Like, you've probably seen
I
a lot
generally
of
don't
movies
like
where you have like guys
seeing
wearing helmets and like little
voice
camera in front of them,
actors.
and we used that
Because
for
to
like
me,
all
that
the
just
prophets and
ruins
all the brutes
whatever I-
and the arbiter, all those guys, so that whenever they were going to say a line, it wasn't just
Not
gonna
for
be
me,
like,
because most people for
you
video
know,
games,
there's,
it's their
like,
actual
mandibles
voice
moving
and
and
maybe
where it
slightly
wouldn't make
different.
sense. Like
Steve Downs
everything
really
actually
talks like
works
that.
perfectly and syncs really well with the
Like, all the time.
with the VO.
I guess it's a little
You
different from
mentioned
video
also
games.
how
I mean, for movies and
oftentimes
TV shows.
the face acting, I think, sometimes separate from.
I don't know,
the
it never
actual
really
motion
affects me.
capture.
Sometimes
I
if it's
think-
like
I can't remember which,
Naruto,
which
where
actor
Naruto's
character it was,
voiced
but
by
he had to
a
ask
woman
someone
for the
to-
Japanese
Oh,
version
yeah,
and a woman
that
for
totally.
the English version.
So that's pretty much right
I was like,
after
what the
this.
fuck?
So basically, you do the mocap.
I can
then
never
you bring
listen to the
everything
English
into,
dub again, but the Japanese I
software,
can
you create the
listen to
layout,
it.
which is basically making like the blueprint for the whole
Like,
project.
There's
And once
not,
this is
I don't
done,
think there's one
you
like
do
seen
the
the voice
second part,
actor
which
for
is
Optimus
another stage
Prime?
of facial capture for all the human characters.
no.
And for this, we use
Every
a different,
time I hear Optimus
different thing. I
Prime,
think you probably saw it into the
sometimes it just
video.
makes me think
At
of
some
that
point,
one
you
guy.
had
Why is he
the
like
actress
weird?
playing.
His voice is just so.
She was inside this kind of like time travel device. It looked
Noel's like
It's
traumatized.
like dark
Transformers
moonlight,
PTSD.
and actually they had to go like through an hour of makeup to put like fluorescent like paint on their face,
Fun fact:
and they looked like little Smurfs.
the voice actor that voiced
It was pretty cool.
Optimus
So
Prime
basically,
in
what
the
it
original
does
series
is
still
kind of
voices
like, it
Optimus
takes
Prime
the
to
scan
this
of your
day.
face 24 times per second, and what you end up with is like the exact acting from your actor. But what was really tough was to sync the body movement, which, well, the thing is, with this rig, you can't move. Like, if you every time you're like, no, he's moving too much. No, he's moving too much. You have to just move less, move less. And so what was really funny
even
is
hear
that at
them,
some
dude.
point during the sequence we just saw, for keys,
They're not
she's supposed to
important.
run, and one of
Yeah,
my
they
comments
are.
to her was like,
I don't want to have to watch
so
this
I
again.
really, I'd like you to run
On
more,
you- on our channel.
but move less. And that's like, wait, what do you mean? Like, yeah, it was, and so we had literally, I mean, we had Damien sitting on his hands so that he couldn't move. For Keys, I was like sitting behind the chair and like holding her shoulders so that they wouldn't move and they could like act. Yeah, it was pretty intense.
Also, and then eventually you get to
You have
that lighting and
horrible
effects, which was the last scene that we saw there.
Like they're all
Eventually
quiet.
you get to that
except
lighting
for
and
one
effects,
dude.
and that was that last
Yeah,
scene.
exactly. So this thing goes like to animation before we go into the lighting. We do animation. It's kind of like a 50-50. Like we have the actor's performance,
Yeah,
but it
please
needs to be
turn off
enhanced
the fan. I know
depending
it's
if you're
fanning
like
like the
on a
computer,
human
but
or
come
if
on,
you're
dude.
putting it on the
It's
arbiter
not
because
it's not
the
picking up on
movements
the mic.
are going to
No,
be
no,
different.
it's just distracting me.
And you can see that it doesn't always work. Like for instance, like the little grunts, whenever we put the mocap on them, because their legs are so tiny, we actually had to get like one guy running through the whole freaking volume, and he would just
want to do
run
like
off.
Halo 2 right here. If you want
So
to just
that's where
try
we're
it.
like, okay,
Not the campaign though. We'll do 1v1.
But yes, once the animation is done, lighting comes in and it makes it look from
it's gonna work.
It starts from gray and then suddenly you have like
my limited
light,
edition Halo
shadows
2.
and textures.
I got a free
It starts looking
coupon
real
from
and
10 years
it's
ago.
7-Eleven.
See, limited editions came with 7-Eleven coupons.
exactly. Well, I mean,
Check
I think
out
that's what
Improved
it's meant
Intense
for.
Mountain Dew Slurpee drink. Now at 7-Eleven and 3 limited
That's what we're
edition.
doing.
We need to make a
I-
video of
Halo 2
us going to
collector
7-Eleven.
I think we did. This is
Trying
going
to
to be
cash in that
the world
coupon.
premiere of the
Oh my
latest.
god, this is gonna be great.
The dude at the
They're
register.
just gonna have. He's just gonna have like in like a metal
Let's
like.
roll that.
Oh wait. All right. Important shit is happening. We'll finish this.
Yes.
Blur trailer. Time to take off my pants.
Unexpected shutdown. The entire system will be standby. All remaining components are now ready for
Okay, I'm done.
activation.
Remote activation.
Ew.
From here.
Why does Johnson have to look so badass?
Must get inside.
And it's just like,
Mount
ew.
up orbit. Your pal. Where's
This
he
guy
going?
looks so badass.
The village struggle started, and this time, none of you will be left.
Boots look pretty good.
That's Tartarus. He's the one with the mohawk.
Don't make a girl a promise.
If
you
we
know you
can't
can't.
keep it.
Definitely not weird. Wait for it. Wait for
Chief
it.
is gonna jump in this tank, roll across the bridge, and
Blow
blow
up
up any inhuman son of a bitch dumb enough to get between him and the prophet of regret. Pull yourself
Get
together.
away, 'cause you're
Still
going with
it.
Oh man, if God is love, then you can call me Cupid. I've just been done. All the money on my savings account goes to an Xbox
Thank you,
One.
Veronica. I think leading up to the launch of the Master Chief Collection and Halo 2 Anniversary, we'll have some more tidbits to share as we get closer. And of course, November 11th, everyone will be able to play through that campaign fully remastered. Before we finish up, we've got a few things.
Best one.
First of which is that after the Q&A, we will have a giveaway, which is going to be a. Let me actually hold it up. Let's see. We'll have the details shortly, but this is an exclusive 1 of 4 Halo the Master Chief Collection.
There's only
Xbox
4
One.
though.
Only 4 were made, and this is actually lasered onto the Xbox One. So we'll have details after the Q&A if you guys do want
That
to stick around.
sucks.
Be sure to stay in your chairs.
Give me one.
But
Give us one.
Just come over.
Yeah.
We'll give you
Of
chips.
course, I'd like to thank everyone for coming later today, I think 12:30 at the Xbox Lounge, which is in the Hyatt.
Is
We're
the
going to be doing
panel
panel
actually
signing.
over?
You can also grab an
Guys, I'm
exclusive
not going to pause it. I'm just
Master
going
Chief
to
Collection poster that's
move
only
for the
available
info.
there. You can meet all these fine panelists
Oh, so it's
and talk to them. Maybe
roughly
we'll
over.
maybe have Daniel
Yeah,
Zoom
we got
as
like
well,
10
if
minutes.
he's
Wow.
He's free, so he's going to be coming too.
Oh yeah.
Dude's already leaving. He's like, fuck this. That's all I'm going to get out of this. I'm done.
I'm going to
I
Batman.
think with
Oh,
that,
Batman
we're actually
panel.
ready to get started. If you guys
I
have
gotta
any
go if we're gonna
questions
make
for
it.
us, we've got a few minutes for Q&A, so go ahead and line up at the
Oh, Q&A.
microphones.
Oh gosh. If that dude from last time is there, he's just got a suit. He's ready for work. Just going.
Are you guys going to do
That's
some
gonna
things that kind of made Halo 2 unique, like BXR and stuff like
Is
that?
that the same guy?
BXR.
Since we're using the original game code, a lot of those things will exist. So yeah, we don't want to fix them. We want it to play like it did, 10 years ago. So that's been one of the pillars. We're trying to keep as much as we can the same.
Yeah, the one caveat I'd add is there's some differences that are forced on us, things like 16:9, the frame rate, and there will be things that introduce new layers of complexity into that. So we're, to Dennis's point, we're leaving the thing the way it's supposed to be, but there'll definitely be some sort of geometry changes and things that happen just as a result of the fidelity increase.
Yeah, I think it's also worth pointing out, like if you are a fan of the way the game originally played, that's all available in the original multiplayer. But Halo 2 Anniversary will be running on a heavily modified engine, and things like BXR and stuff won't exist in Halo 2 Anniversary. So if you kind of like either flavor of gameplay, that's going to be waiting for you in the game.
So, MILF.
Hey there.
Nah, I'm just
I'm
playing.
Serena Cortana, and I just wanted to thank all of you for all the work that you've done. I wouldn't be standing here today if it wasn't for you. I'm transgender, and through Halo, I found the support and guidance I needed and the friends to get me through. And by just sheer coincidence, I started hormones on the 12th anniversary of Halo 1. So I just wanted to thank you all.
She started with.
Thank you.
What's that? Wait, what?
She said that she was transgender.
Hey guys.
Hello.
You guys are pretty cool, not gonna lie. I love everything you've done with Halo.
It's tough
ever.
to disagree. It is.
But I was gonna ask, because Halo 2's Collector's Edition was such a huge thing, is there gonna be a Collector's Edition of this with maybe the helmet or something like that?
We still have a lot of those helmets, so maybe we can put currently there's no plans for a limited edition. I think you guys are going to dig the packaging itself, and really this is kind of a collector's edition unto itself. I mean, certainly the content speaks to that.
Actually, that's how the Legendary Edition of Halo 3. It had a Master Chief helmet with room. You take off the helmet, and it's like a case for 3 games.
Whether you like it,
fit
doesn't
1,
matter,
2, and
but
3 in there.
No, at this point, there's no
It
plans
was pretty
for
much
a
like
limited
life
edition of
size.
that.
Too bad you couldn't wear it though.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Thanks.
As myself and I'm sure many other people are wondering, do you have any plans for a PC release of Halo 3 or the Master Chief Collection?
Well, we have nothing to talk about right now. I mean, it's the type of thing where we're doing a lot of this because the fans keep asking for it. And, you know, if the fans want a PC release, they should keep asking for it, but we don't have anything to talk about right now.
We will, thank you.
Hi, Halo Nightfall and the new characters look amazing, but I'm a huge fan of the novels, and I was wondering if we'd see any more of remaining Spartan 2s or Spartan 3s that come back.
First off, I love your accent.
Thank you. Thanks, Frank.
Very, very sexy and compelling.
What?
Secondly, the original Spartan 2s are well, you're going to see one of them for sure, Master Chief. But they're a thing we're fond of, and I bluntly don't want to give away any story spoilers for what we have planned for the historical Halo characters. But there are a lot of really interesting things related to your question that are going to become apparent in the next year or so.
Thanks a lot.
Oh,
thank you, man.
That's it. Master Chief's team is going to die. What's with the close-up on this?
About what you said recently, I was about to ask for a PC version too, but I have
This
another
guy.
question in mind. You guys are doing an incredible job remastering these games and really respecting, obviously, the original source material. Did it ever occur to you, like, you're making Halo 1 and 2 look absolutely amazing, and then Halo 3 is probably looking like a 2007 game, like, in comparison?
So I was playing Halo 3, the build that came in on Friday.
Right before we left.
And so sure, it looks like the stuff that was built for the Xbox 360. But what I've noticed, especially with Halo 3 and Halo 4, is there's a lot of detail. And not just pixel detail, like there's animation detail that's popping out at 60 frames a second that was built into the game that just was never demonstrated. And so I was in the jungle, the beginning level of Halo 3, and there's absolutely new light coming from foliage in different ways, and this was all just in there, and the fidelity is really singing at this point. And I don't want to oversell it. Both of those games were still built for the last generation of hardware, but I think bluntly, Halo 3 and Halo 4 in particular wouldn't benefit from the anniversary treatment anywhere near as much as the OG Xbox stuff. So I think you're going to be really pleasantly surprised by how the campaigns on those
OG Xbox, original gangster Xbox.
Play better on the Xbox One.
Yeah, something I noticed as well, just even things like on the fist of a Spartan, you'll notice the overshield actually has this thin glow that I don't think was ever seen on Xbox 360. So it's
again,
cool.
the rack slide animation on the pistol, and there's loads of things that just pop out that were there, but were hidden by the fidelity at the time.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks, guys. You said you're remastering or re-recording the soundtrack. And of course, that's a huge part of the series. Everyone remembers, firing up Halo 1 and 2 the first time and hearing, da 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 da. I am tone deaf, but So, any chance of including an isolated score? So just turn down the TV, crank up the stereo, and enjoy that at all? Or?
That is, it's certainly possible. It's not on the docket quite yet, but we've had that discussion internally as well, and we'd like to make it available as a standalone thing. But we just have to finish the game before we start worrying about the discrete components of it.
Yeah, you'll hear a lot more about audio coming up soon as well, probably around Gamescom.
Yeah.
There we go. Live reaction Gamescom. Check it out in like a month. Oh God.
I have a question about Halo 1 multiplayer. If you're bringing back the multiplayer as it was, is the infinite ammo glitch still there? Because it seems very detrimental to the entire gameplay.
Specifically the rocket infinite ammo glitch?
Maybe.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things, like looking at, as Dennis started to speak to, and Dennis and Frank, you should chime in as well. There's a lot of things that are intricate to the gameplay. I think there's often you have to draw a line. You know, do you cut off back reloading and things, or what do you keep? So I think largely for Halo 1 and Halo 2, in classic mode, there's a goal to have the experiences play as they did.
Yeah. So likely that would remain. If it's in the original code, we're trying not to touch that code, except to make sure that it runs and operates really well on the Xbox One.
Yeah,
but glitches like that.
Yeah. I think this is it's a really weird question, because back in the Halo 2 days, for example, we tried to not expose, things like BXR and stuff, because they gave people an unfair advantage. I think our approach this time will be a little bit different and pretty opposite. And where there are things like fun glitches, we're going to try and explain how those work to people so that they're not in the dark, and there's like 5 jerks on the other team not telling them why they have infinite ammo. And so we'll be doing some education on some of those glitchy things. But
so everybody's just gonna have infinite ammo now.
It was a different.
Great job, 343. Case closed.
For every person who's irritated by it, there are like 5 people who love that stuff.
Oh, Halo 2 pros are like, we back. They're just gonna come out of like their day jobs and just quit everything. Be like, all right, guys, time to own this place.
Thank you.
It's over. We own this place.
We found our.
I was wondering about in Halo 2 how you could use dual SMGs, and that was a really cool thing for me to do, just firing 500 bullets into somebody. But I was wondering if you would bring that back in like a later Halo game.
Well, dual wielding is part of the Max's 6 remastered Halo 2 anniversary maps, and in a lot of ways it plays like. I mean, it does exactly play like a very modern version of Halo 2 with most of the Halo 2 functionality. So the answer is yes for that. And in the future, Halo 5 and beyond, there's currently no plans to put dual wielding in Halo 5. I'll tell you that. But it's not impossible in the future. But no plans at this time.
Thank you. Thanks.
Sad face.
Probably got time for a few more before we give away. Actually, I'm being told we have time for one more before we give away this console.
Hey, you guys. Thanks again for everything you do. Halo is awesome.
Trying to kiss up for that console.
My question is, after the success of Combat Evolved Anniversary, when did you guys, maybe specifically you, Frank, when did you know that you wanted to take this concept of reviving the game beyond Halo 2, but to Halo 3 and Halo 4? When did you know that that was something you wanted to do?
Bonnie Ross, who's hiding in the audience somewhere, lamented when we were working on Halo Anniversary that we couldn't put all the games on the Xbox 360. 2 of them were on the original Xbox. We were putting Anniversary on the 360. And having that whole collection and that whole experience of the Master Chief's story on one console would have been great. And so when the discussions about what we would put on the Master Chief collection came up, that was really the driving principle behind
I would have just said everything.
Entire story on one console.
Everything we can fit on one
not
disc.
just so that people can go 1, 2, 3, 4 and then move on to 5, but so that they can finally have this thing that they've sort of grown up with, all in one place and enjoy it, from one box at a higher fidelity than ever before. So really, the real answer is during Halo 1 Anniversary is when.
Okay, guys. Thank you for watching.
Hey, thank you. I'd like to thank
Hope
all
you guys
of you for
enjoyed the
joining
video.
us this morning. I'd like to
I
thank
know we
Comic-Con
did.
for having
Good.
us.
Still
It's been
blowing
great. I
your
hope you guys
mind.
enjoyed
Check
it.
the links in that page for more videos that we have done. In the meantime, I'm NMac4.
And I'm Big Boss Bat.
And we'll see you
next time. Peace.